I show you my stuff with DM Scotty.
The fun thing I wanted to show you today is this Ogre cage cart or wagon that I made. And let me give you a better look at it. See, it's got the little gate in the back, and it's got the cage and skull on there. And it looks really great. So let me talk about it a little bit. So the cage technique you've seen me do, I just did it the same way I did the cage technique, just went all the way around the wagon. I put a little bit of hay in the wagon itself with that technique. I also did a hitch. I just cut some wood, and the hitch attaches to some wood that I did in the bottom. So these attach to the wheels, and then that attaches to the hitch. So I just did a little bit of detail on that in case the wagon got turned over. I also added a skull. This is a Games Workshop skull, which I thought looked nice on the front there. And the wheels are kind of interesting. The wheels aren't really a technique I've shown before. They're made out of a material called Super Sculpey. And let me give you a look at that. So here's what the Super Sculpey looks like. It's and it's also like a pinkish clay. And this is an oven-baked clay. So what you do is you sculpt what you're going to do, and then you put it in the oven at 275 for like 15 minutes. And then it hardens to a hard consistency. Now, I definitely recommend the Super Sculpey as opposed to the regular, because the regular tends to break much easier. Now, the wheels themselves, I just used a punch, flattened out the clay, used a punch, punched it, and then added the detail, but added a little Sculpey board going across there and everything. Now you can always do wheels excuse me, with different techniques like you know, with cardboard or the woodsies that we've used. There's all kinds of ways to do wheels, but this is another way if you wanted to make an interesting wheel that didn't look like one of those kind of things. So now I've got my cart, I needed something to pull it. So I discovered this Mage Knight figure, which I thought looked great. It looked suitably primitive and ogre-y, ogreness. And the thing was, it was actually a dwarf thing, and it had a dwarf attached. I just ripped the dwarf off. So what I did is I made the wagon so that the hitch perfectly lines up with that the base there, and then I could put an ogre on it to drive this thing. So so that worked out really well, and it looks great. So the players could try to, you know, make the animal run away, or, you know, separate it from the wagon or whatever to help the people or creatures that are in the wagon. So the ogres were hungry, so they were trying to raid the player's kingdom and steal, you know, food basically. So they were after people. So I had peasants that could go in, that they could put in the wagon, and then the players would have to save them. They were after some grains. I had like a multi-tiered encounter. So they were like, you know, they had to save some peasants, and then this mill, and then some animals. So it was a lot of fun. But one problem I ran into was it's really hard to find scale animals for this scale. But I discovered a bunch of farm animals that are actually 1/64th scale. But they work really great for the 28 millimeter. So here's a bunch of animals I got online. I couldn't find them locally, but I did find them online. And you can see how nice those look, and they're just about the perfect scale. So when the ogres were raiding, they were putting the different animals in their cart. So there's goat, and I have a cow, and there's sheep. And these are all pre-painted, so that's really nice too. I didn't really have to paint them. But I got a bunch of animals for a fairly cheap price. That's a good way to get scale animals if you need them for your games. So there we go. There's what I wanted to show you. This wicked ogre cart that they were using to raid the players' villages and get some food. So there you go. And I'll see you next time when I show you my stuff. Hey crafters, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the DM's Craft. Make sure to subscribe, and I have tons of other videos, as you can see. I am the originator of the 2.5D method of crafting tiles. I also do dirt cheap terrain for the table. If all this intrigues you, make sure you check out all the videos below. Also, join my forum. We have lots of great crafters on there who give advice. I have a link above and below. And last but not least, remember, go forth and craft!